Cool. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. I am going to start the quiz in a couple of minutes. We're just getting one of the teams all sorted out. They've just had some problems getting online. We're going to start the quiz in a couple of minutes. So this is Patrick's first inaugural birthday quiz. The format will be a picture round, which you all should have in your inboxes. Those are 10 famous people from here and from history who have had some sort of connection with infectious diseases for obvious reasons. And that's a bit macabre, but that's the way we're going to do it. We will then move on to two written rounds. So we have themes such as Netflix, we've got film and TV, we've got a miscellaneous round, as well as one round of a connections answer. We'll come to that in a little bit. I'm going to be just motoring through these. I'll ask each question a couple of times and then just run through the quiz section again after we've finished it. The format will be your team leader will fill out the answer sheets, and then we'll send them back to me after we've completed the first three rounds. You will see that on the link that I sent to you, there's a link to an interactive whiteboard. We'll be using that after round three to do a little bit of artwork, but we'll come to that one in a little bit. But for the meantime, happy birthday, Patrick, and we're going to get started in just a minute. It's worth noting that we've got people joining from as far away today as New South Wales, Australia, as well as the Ottawa crew as well. We've got New York as well as Paris. We are pretty global today, everybody. And I think that just goes to show what Patrick's, the reach that Patrick's had. So we're going to get started in just a minute, just waiting for one more team to get all involved, and then we'll go from there. Right, we're just waiting for one more team to get involved. They are just having some problems logging in. We'll be going in just a minute. Lewis, once you've got yourself sorted out, we'll be able to go. Okay, right, let's get started then. Let's get started. We're just waiting for one more team to get involved, but I'm bored, and so we want to start cracking on. We've got 6 teams playing tonight, each of about 7 to 8 people. We've got we've got UCL teams such as the Huge Party Globetrotters and UCL University Challenge Benchwarmers. We've got Saturday Night Fever. We've got Bat Soup. We've got Nerd Immunity, as well as Cov Quiz PB as team names today. So I like the effort on most of those, indeed. Right, so we're going to crack on, like I say. Hopefully you finished that picture round by now. That will be handed in at the halfway point of the round of the quiz. So you've got time to finish on that if you do want to. But we're going to start with a Netflix round first. Obviously, we're all spending quite a lot of time at home at the moment. There's a lot of time to be spent watching TV. So hopefully most of these will be pretty easy for you. Right, you ready? So the first round, the Netflix round. We're starting off nice and easy, just to ease you in. What is the name of the writer behind both Bodyguard and Line of Duty? What's the name of the writer behind both Bodyguard and Line of Duty? Obviously, it's a pretty low-key start. What is the name of the writer behind both The Bodyguard and Line of Duty? Okay. Question number 2. In which US state would you find the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park? In which US state would you find the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park? I suppose if you haven't seen that particular show, then that might be a tough one, but you've got 1 in 50 chance of getting it right. In which US state would you find the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park? All right, question number 3. Howard Ratner loans his Ethiopian opal to an NBA star in a recently added film on Netflix. What is the name of that NBA star? Howard Ratner loans his Ethiopian opal to an NBA star in a recently added film on Netflix. What's the name of this NBA star? If you get really stuck later, I might help you out by telling you which film that was. I can let you know it's set in New York. It's an American film, and Howard Ratner loans his Ethiopian opal to an NBA star. Staying with that sort of sporting theme as well. Question number 4. A team from which Lancashire town beat Old Etonians to win the FA Cup in 1883? A team from which Lancashire town beat Old Etonians to win the FA Cup in 1883? Now, there's been a Netflix show about that one as well. They were the first working class team to win the FA Cup. Now, I don't need the whole team name. I just need what town they're from, please. Question number 5. What is the verdict in the case of the murder of Kathleen Pearson in The Staircase? So The Staircase, a documentary made started in 2001. That's been one of the most watched documentaries on Netflix for the last few years. It's about a murder case. Michael Pearson, I believe his name is. And what is the verdict in that case, in the murder of Kathleen in The Staircase? Cool. Question number 6. How do Otis and Maeve make money at their school in sex education? How do Otis and Maeve make money at their school in sex education? I'll just give you a little bit of time to catch up there. And of course, I'll be running through these after we've finished the round as well. So if there's anything we need to circle back on, then don't worry, we'll get it. So we're looking for Otis and Maeve and how they make their money in sex education. Excellent. Okay, so cracking on. Number 7. What is the name of the fictional East London estate on which Top Boy is set? So Top Boy is set on which fictional East London estate? This is the first couple of series. What's the name of the fictional East London estate that Top Boy is set on? Okay, final question on that round. So the Netflix round. Question number 8. What city does Joe Goldberg move to in You in order to escape his violent, abusive past? So what city does Joe Goldberg move to in You in order to escape his past, his violent, abusive past? So the show is You. It's originally set in one city and he moves into another city for season 2. What city is that? Yeah, just to be clear, sometimes I'm muting myself because I need to talk to some of the teams. Yeah, sorry because I don't want to have to turn off the stream again and fuck it up because I can't turn it back on. Cool. Let's just run through those questions then. Sorry. We've got 8 questions for this round. Am I muted? No, I'm not now. What's the name of the writer behind both Bodyguard and Line of Duty? Number 2. In which US state would you find the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park? Number 3. Howard Ratner loans his Ethiopian opal to an NBA star in a recently added film on Netflix. What's the name of this NBA star? Number 4. A team from which Lancashire town beat Old Etonians to win the FA Cup in 1883? Number 5, what's the verdict in the case of the murder of Kathleen Pearson in the staircase? Number 6, how do Otis and Maeve make money at their school in sex education? Number 7, what's the name of the fictional East London estate that Top Boy is set on? Number 8, what city does Joe Goldberg move to in You in order to escape his past and his violent, abusive ways? 8 questions. Right, I'm just going to mute you all for a sec. Please don't start crying when you think I can't hear you. Who's Big Idiot? So yeah, the way that it will work here is we've got another round. So that'll be the end of the third round. We're then going to take a break. I will put you on mute. And I'm just going to be circulating. If you've got any other questions or need any clarification, we can do that at that side. Some people come in fancy dress today. I'll try and find a way to screencast it. Vladimir looks like a double agent from Narcos or a sex pest. No matter what you want, you know. Then we've also here, just for the great Patrick Burke, obviously. Well, maybe we'll do a happy birthday round at some point, a rendition. Okay. Right, hopefully you're all up to speed. I'm sorry if I went a little bit fast on that one. I will slow down on this one. It is the first time I've ever done this. But the second round, or sorry, the third round, will be an anagram round. What this means is the first letter from each answer can be taken and rearranged to give another word. I'll give you a clue as to what that word might be at the end. But yeah, I think you probably pretty au fait with the format here. I'm going to ask 7 questions. That's going to give you 7 first letters. Those 7 letters you can then take and rearrange into another word. So let's crack on. Again, if I go too fast, please just hurl abuse for me over YouTube. It's a good way of doing it. Cool. So, question number 1. Which tomato-based vegetable stew is also the name of a Disney film? Which tomato-based vegetable stew is also the name of a Disney film? Thank you, Shafri, by the way. That's very kind. Question number 2, then. Who won an Oscar for playing a world-famous French singer nicknamed the Sparrow? Who won an Oscar for playing a world-famous French singer nicknamed the Sparrow? She won an Oscar for it. She was playing a French singer. That French singer is nicknamed the Sparrow. I need the name of the actress involved, please. I need the name of the actress involved. Question number 3 then. Which film centers on Robert Neville and his dog Samantha surviving a zombie apocalypse in New York City? Which film centers on Robert Neville and his dog Samantha surviving a zombie apocalypse in New York City? Robert Neville's the character, not the actor. Didn't want to give the actor because it's make it too easy. Which film centers on Robert Neville and his dog Samantha surviving a zombie apocalypse in New York City? Right, I'm just going to take a little pause there and talk about the final round we're going to do this evening. That round is the Patrick round. I'm going to ask each team to come up with a question about Patrick, and I'm going to sort of put that out to each of us. So I know that we've got some people here who have actually don't know Patrick, but for the rest of us, it might be a nice one. Obviously, less interested in his shoe size or whatever. Hopefully, we can really throw him under the bus with some tough questions there. So we're going to have some questions about Patrick. But for now, we're just focusing on the film round. So number 4, which 2000 films soundtrack won a Grammy for its country bluegrass soundtrack? Sorry, bluegrass. So which 2000 films album, won a Grammy for best album for its country/bluegrass soundtrack? So the film was released in 2000. Its soundtrack won a Grammy for best album. I need the name of the film, please. So yeah, a film released in 2000. They released an album to go with it as well, and it won a Grammy. What was the name of that film? Right, number 5 is one for the Marvel lot of you. I need the name, please, of Gamora's sister. She's a superhero in the Marvel Extended Universe, and she's got a sister. I need her name, please. She's also a superhero. By the way, I hope we're all doing this with a drink in our hands. Don't know about you, but it's not much else to do at the moment. Okay, number 6. Which dead rock star visits Wayne Campbell in Wayne's World 2 to tell him to put on a rock festival? This dead rock star is also dismayed about seeing the crack in the Indian's bottom. So there's a dead rock star. He visits Wayne in Wayne's World 2 to tell him to put on a rock festival in a dream. What's the name of this dead rock star, please? Part of the 27 Club, actually, this rock star. But he visits Wayne Campbell in a dream and tells him to put on a festival. What's the name? Yeah, sorry, Amir. It's not very inclusive of me. I hope I'm going a little bit slower for you all now. I got a lot of abusive text there. And yeah, I'll go back over the questions if you've missed anything. I'll also just sort of be circulating around the groups after this round, so you can give me some constructive feedback and ask any clarifications you need. Cool. So, final question for this round. This will be the seventh one, and I need an anagram after it. So, what is the profession of Jim Carrey's character in the film Liar Liar? What is the profession of Jim Carrey's character in the film Liar Liar? Just need a one-word answer, please, for this one. What's the profession of Jim Carrey's character in the film Liar Liar? The main character in the film Liar Liar. What's his job? Shout out to Victoire. Thank you very much for your compliments, your kind words. And I'll speak to you in a sec. Okay, so that round was 7 answers long, 7 questions long. You should now have 7 letters taken from the beginning of each of those answers. What I need you to do is rearrange them into a word. The word obviously is 7 letters long. I'll give you a clue. The word is, or the object that spells out is a mythical weapon. Is a mythical weapon. 7 letters long, and it's a mythical weapon. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put myself on mute, and I'm going to be just coming around to all the groups. If you need any clarification on any of the questions, if you need any of them repeated, then I will be able to answer those ones. But yeah, you're going on mute, so don't cry about it again, please. Okay, I've spoken to most of the teams. Most people have got me their answer sheets, which is ideal. Thank you very much. What I need from team captains is for them to send me through the answer sheets if they haven't done so already. I also need you to send me the drawing that you've made of potentially made of Patrick. So that is on the whiteboard link that I sent through to everybody. And if you could just draw us a picture, please, of Patrick. Whilst I just tot up all the scores, that would be ideal. So I just need a picture, please, on the whiteboard of Patrick as best you can do it. I'm going to just mark up the answer sheets and get started in the next 5 minutes. As well, let me remind you that the final round is going to be about Patrick. So we need some questions ready to throw him underneath the bus. We need to make him feel uncomfortable. So I don't want what's his favorite football team. I don't know what his favorite shoe size is or what his shoe size is. We want something to throw him under the bus. So I'll leave that with you. Put myself back on mute and we'll start again in a few minutes. Right, I'm just waiting one more answer sheet and then we'll go from there. If team captains, you guys have finished doing your picture of Patrick, if you've finished doing your picture, Patrick, on the whiteboard, then please send them through. I'm just going to put you back on mute now. Okay, right. The scores are in. I understand, obviously, that the huge party Globetrotters need to just catch up a little bit. But in the meantime, let's go through the answers that we've had so far. So the first question was about the name of the writer behind both The Bodyguard and Line of Duty. That was Jed Mercurio. I'll go through the picture round in a second as well. In which US state would you find the Greater Wynwood Animal Park? That was, of course, Oklahoma. That's from the Tiger King Tiger King series that's been out there at the moment. Until if you've not watched it yet. Question number three was Howard Ratner loans his Ethiopian opal to NBA star and recently had a film on Netflix. That star was Kevin Garnett. It was Kevin Garnett. It wasn't Shaquille O'Neal. It wasn't Michael Jordan. It wasn't any of the people that a lot of you said. That was Kevin Garnett, obviously from the film Uncut Gems. The team from the Lancashire town that beat Old Etonians was Blackburn Olympic. It was Blackburn Olympic, obviously off the English game. I accepted Blackburn from that one. I think Blackburn Olympic was a little bit tough, but Blackburn is absolutely fine. The verdict in the case of the murder of Kathleen was guilty. Guilty. They entered an Alford plea in the end, so he didn't accept his guilt, but he was convicted for that crime. Otis and Maeve make money at their school in sex education by running a sex clinic, giving sex tips and relationship advice and so on. Any sort of variation like that, I accepted. And the fictional East London estate that Top Boy was set on was the Summerfield estate. Joe Goldberg moves also to LA in order to escape his violent past. Now, I'm not going to lie, some teams did better on that one than others. Yeah, massive shout out to Saturday Night Fever, who don't watch Netflix and so didn't do so great on that round. But there were also some stonking performances. Now, Summer House. Yeah, sorry, Amir. Sorry, Summer House. I gave you the mark anyway. The picture round. Starting up top left, someone that we've been seeing a lot on our screens is Sir Chris Whitty. Obviously, I don't really need to explain why he was on there for this round. Moving right in the pink shirt, we've got Alicia Silverstone. Put her in there as a massive anti-vaxxer. She sort of reckons that, all the autism and so on. She reckons that vaccines are killing a baby. Number three, similar to the top left one, that's Matt Hancock, the health secretary. He's obviously been in the news a lot. That's Rita there, Rita Hanks, Tom Hanks's wife. obviously want to be one of the first high-profile celebrities to get diagnosed with the disease. Yeah, sorry guys, it was definitely Summer House. I'm sorry. The one on the far left in the middle caused a lot of problems. That is the Lord Jon Snow. And obviously, he's not a newsreader. He's also not a member of the Night's Watch. That was the person that actually came up with modern epidemiology. He tracked the outbreaks of cholera in Soho in London and managed to track it back to a single pump, which is still there actually, and there is a Southsmiths pub next to it. The big picture in the middle is Samuel Pepys. He wrote a diary, obviously, during the plague. That ended in 1666, and so is on there for that merit. Next to him, the painting is of Catherine the Great of Russia. A lot of people actually got that right, which is good work. The reason I put her in there is she was one of the first high-profile people to get an inoculation, an injection for smallpox way back in the 1700s. And then on the right there, if you've been in year 2 in this country, you'll know that that's Florence Nightingale, obviously for obvious reasons. Moving down to the bottom left, we've got Li Wenliang. He raised the alarm about the COVID outbreak in Wuhan. Unfortunately, he passed away from the virus, but he was the one who sort of said, "Look, guys, we've got to do something about this." And then moving right round to the bottom right, we've got Anthony Fauci or Fauci. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's like the American Chris Whitty. So he's been on the news a lot. Obviously, the big White House sign behind him is a big giveaway. So we moved on to the film round after that. So we had 7 questions and a anagram at the end. Now there's some good performances in this one, and there were some not so good performances as well. But we can just run through them quickly. The tomato-based vegetable stew was Ratatouille, of course. The person who won an Oscar for playing Wolfram's French singer, nicknamed the Sparrow, was Marion Cotillard. Obviously, that film was La Vie en Rose, which was about Edith Piaf. But I needed Marion Cotillard, please, because I needed an M, basically. The film, which centered on Robert Neville and his dog Samantha, was I Am Legend. And the 2000 film that won a Grammy for Best Album was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The sister of Gamora was Nebula. And actually reading out that question, I was bricking it because I actually thought, God, she might actually have more than one sister. But no, it was Nebula, thank God. And the dead rock star that visits Wayne Campbell, member of the 27 Club, was Jim Morrison. The profession of Jim Carrey's character in the film Liar Liar is a lawyer. Of course, you might be able to guess that. And so that meant you had enough letters to spell Mjolnir, which was the hammer of Thor. Most of us got that one. So that means we have the scores on the doors, quite a large spread. So if we sort of work from the back and round and work upwards, we've got in final place, we've got the Saturday Night Fever crew on a healthy, valiant 16 points. Ahead of them on 22 points, we have David's team, whose name I have just forgotten. Got David's team, yeah, Nerd Immunity. Yeah, they might be nerds, but they've only got 22 points. 23. We had the next place on, 25. Good performance from the guys of the UCL University Challenge Benchwarmers. So, they might be trying to piss me off with their name, but yeah, I would have done better than that, lads. And then way up in front, getting pretty much every question right, I think, other than the Jon Snow one, is Amir's team. So the guys of Bat Soup on a massive 27 out of 28 points. I'm just going to start the second half of the quiz in a second. Just a reminder, I need some questions about Patrick. I'm just going to be coming around and getting those questions off you now, and so we can do that quiz there. And also thank you very much to the people who've sent through my answer sheet. Sorry, no, the picture of Patrick. We've got some pretty interesting sketches there. And then who is Big Idiot? I mean, yeah, I'm not muted. I'm going to be muted now. I'm just going to speak to everybody and get their questions. We're going to start the second half of the quiz in a sec. Okay, right. I am starting again. Thank you very much for bearing with me. I've now got everybody's questions for the quiz, final round even, sorry. First things first though, apologies. I forgot to actually tell you who was in second place. That is the Cov Quiz PB group, who are actually on 26 points. So just behind the Batsuit team on 27. A great performance from them already. But okay, let's crack on regardless and make sure that we are, we're getting through this. So there are 3 more rounds remaining of the quiz. The first one will be a miscellaneous round, so just sort of general knowledge. Then we'll have a sort of connections round, so each question will have some sort of connection, and then we're going to do the Patrick round, which everybody submitted questions for. So I hope you're ready. Obviously, if I'm going too fast, please do hurl abuse at me on the YouTube comments, and then we'll just get going on that. So for the general knowledge round, we will have 8 questions, so 8 points to play for. Question number 1. Which performance group, originally from Brighton, have become famous for their percussion shows in which they use everyday objects as drums? Which performance group, originally from Brighton, have become famous for their percussion shows in which they use everyday objects as drums? Which performance group, originally from Brighton, have become famous for their percussion shows? They do them in theatres, they do them in the street, they do them everywhere. I think they did them at the opening ceremony for the Olympics as well, and they just use like everyday objects as drums. I've got Patrick texting me asking if he can give the answers for the questions that you've all posed about him. The answer is a hard no. I mean, Patrick, mate, I've actually had to, censor them myself, so you'll be all right. Okay, question number 2 for this general knowledge round. J.M. Barrie, who lived just between where the Brunswick Centre and Great Ormond Street Hospital are, is famous for writing which children's story? He wrote a children's story, this guy, J.M. Barrie. What was the name of that story? It's his best known one. Been plays and films about it. And yeah, for you UCL heads out there, just between where Great Ormond Street Hospital is and the Brunswick Centre. Just need the name of that story, please. Right, hopefully you're all caught up. Again, please do hurl abuse at me in the comments if I'm not saying, oh, look, the cactus fish. Yeah, whatever. Okay, number 3. Joy Division's best known song was Love Will Tear Us Apart, which was released just after Ian Curtis's death in May 1980. What was the name of the album that it was taken from? Joy Division's best known song was Love Will Tear Us Apart. It was taken from an album that was released just after Ian Curtis killed himself in May 1980. What I need from you is the name of that album, please. Just a 1-word answer. One thing about not being able to see you is that we would definitely be singing Happy Birthday to Patrick normally. But it's just not going to work. So if you do want to sing Happy Birthday to Patrick in your teams, then please do go for it. Number 4, though. Number 4. Amir's asking why the answer to question number 3 isn't 2 words. It's because the album didn't have a 2-word title, actually, mate. So that would be why. Question number 4. Complete the name of the Raymond Chandler novel in which a detective is hired to deal with a blackmailer. The Big Blank. Fill in that blank for me, please. Complete the name of the Raymond Chandler novel in which a detective is hired to deal with a blackmailer. The Big Blank. What should go in place of the blank? There was a film made of it in 1946 Classic of the noir genre. And I just need you to complete that title. The Big What? Yeah, I said there was 8 questions in this round. There is actually only 7 because I managed to repeat myself. Doesn't really matter. Number 5. Which canned food product was first sold in Fortnum and Masons by the H.J. Heinz Company in 1886? Which canned food product was first sold in Fortnum and Masons by the H.J. Heinz Company in 1886? So it's a ubiquitous food product, first sold in Fortnum's, of all places, on Piccadilly, by the Heinz Company in 1886. Number 6, then. What was the name of the Offspring's third album? It was their breakthrough album, and it spawned singles such as Come Out of Play and Self Esteem. It sold 11 million copies and is actually the best-selling independently released album of all time. So I just need the name of the Offspring's third album, please. What was the name of the Offspring's third album? It was their breakthrough album, spawning singles such as Come Out and Play and Self Esteem. Sold 11 million copies and is the best-selling independently released album of all time. And the last question of the round. Can I just confirm that there are 7 questions on here? I managed to repeat 1 question. I can give you two points for it. But there are 7 questions in this round. Number 7, the 1960 film starring Kenneth More about a World War II sea battle was called Blank the Bismarck. I need you to fill in that blank. If it helps you, Brewdog released a beer of the same name in about 2011. So it's a 1960 film starring Kenneth More, and its title is Blank the Bismarck, referencing a World War II sea battle. I need you to fill in that answer, please, or that blank, please. So I'm just going to run through that question, that round again in a sec. All 7 questions. I can confirm there are 7 questions. I think I put 8 on the answer sheet, but team captains, don't shoot yourself. There's only 7 questions. I've got some good news for the Saturday Night Fever crowd. I've just received a late entry from the Huge Party Globetrotters, and yeah, they didn't even get 16, lads. We've got 1, 2, 6, 7. They got 7. So well done to the Globetrotters, who, to be fair, might be the most international team there. They straddle 11 time zones. We've got New South Wales, we've got London, yeah, and then we've got Ottawa on the other team. Shout out to Charlie. We've got New York. Hello to Hannah and Toby. We've got Marylebone. I think my mum's still joining in. Hello, mum. Cool. Let's run through those questions quickly. Which performance group, originally from Brighton, became famous for their percussion shows in which they use everyday objects as drums? That's question number 1. J.M. Barrie. He wrote what famous children's story? Joy Division's best known song was Love Will Tear Us Apart, but what was the name of the album from which it was taken? It was only a 1-word answer. Complete the name of the Raymond Chandler novel in which a detective is hired to deal with a blackmailer? The Big What. There's also a film of the same name. Which canned food product was first sold in Fortnum and Masons by the H.J. Heinz Company in 1886? And then what was the name of the Offspring's third album? It's the best-selling independently released album of all time. And then a 1960 film starring Kenneth More about a World War II sea battle was called What the Bismarck. So there's some good ones in there for Patrick there. Offspring, food, Brunswick Centre. Patrick, I think you've done well out of that one. So there were 7 questions in that round. Sorry, he's 7 answers. I'm going to crack on with the 5th round in a sec. Yeah, Pete, the Joy Division question was number 3. To be honest, if you get it mixed up, mate, I'm probably still going to give you the mark. Don't worry. Although, yeah, hopefully you can see the little Easter egg in there. I'm just looking at the pictures you lot have sent in and trying to work out how to screencast them. If any of you nerdy ones can help me out on that one, that would be helpful. For what it's worth, I've got 5 pictures. Of those 5 pictures, 4 of them feature a very, very, very large penis, and some of them multiple. So make of that what you will, Patrick. Either your friends have a very high opinion of you, or just think you're a massive penis. Cool, let's crack on then. Round number 5 is a connection round. Now, each of these questions have answers that are in some way connected. So the questions themselves might actually be quite tough. They are definitely harder ones. But once you start getting the connections, they should all be falling into place pretty easily. So even if you don't know the first couple, please just do bear with us. Keep on trying. Because once you get one of them, I reckon the rest of them just fall nicely into place. Slot nicely into place, if that makes sense. So without any further ado, question number 1. Outside of what hotel was John Lennon murdered? Outside of which hotel was John Lennon murdered? It was on the Upper West Side in New York, I believe, 1980. And he was murdered outside a hotel by a dude with a gun, obviously. What was the name of that hotel? Like I say, these ones are tough, but once you start getting the connections, the others will fall into place very, very, very nicely indeed. So the question number 2. Emanuel Leutzer painted a famous picture of which Revolutionary War general crossing the Delaware River? It's a tough question, that one. You either know it or you don't. But I think once we get the connections, you'll do a lot better. So Emanuel Leutzer painted a picture of which famous US Revolutionary War general crossing the Delaware River? He's a US general. Famous painting. So fair play to anyone who's got the connection so far. Right, here's one that a few more of you might get. What was the name of Manchester City's ground before they moved into their current stadium? What was the name of Manchester City's ground before they moved into their current stadium? Obviously, they're playing at the City of Manchester or East London or Etihad, whatever you want to call it. What was the name of their old ground, basically? They left it in 2002, I think. You're not the only one to comment on the light bulb, Toby. It's just mood lighting. So I hope this is all Saturday night enough for you all. Thank you for bearing with us. We're nearly there. Question number 4 on this one. Which playwright wrote plays such as A Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and A Streetcar Named Desire? Again, tough question, but once you get the connections, these should be falling into place very nicely. Which playwright wrote plays such as Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or A Streetcar Named Desire? That's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or A Streetcar Named Desire. I need the name of the author, please, or the playwright. So hopefully some of you are starting to get that connection now. Next one's the music one. Which band got 3 Grammy nominations for their first album, Boys and Girls, which had as its lead single, Hold On? It was released in 2012. Which band got 3 nominations for their first album, Boys and Girls, led by their hit 2012 single, Hold On? I think it went to number 1, maybe not in this country, but over in the States. They are a US band. Got a female front man. So I just need the name of the band there, please. A band, album, Boys and Girls, single was Hold On. Next one, going back to films. In the film Lucky Stripes, in which Frankie Muniz plays a zebra who reinvents himself as a racing horse, what famous race do they enter? In the film Lucky Stripes, in which Frankie Muniz voices a zebra who reinvents himself as a horse, what race do they enter? If it helps you out, Seabiscuit also entered the same race. Very famous horse race. Entered by Frankie Muniz as a zebra and Seabiscuit as well. One of those films is fucking shit. Okay, now hopefully quite a few of you are getting them connections. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but once you get one connection, you'll probably get the rest of them. Number 7. What is the name of the form of poker in which 2 cards are held by each player, with 5 community cards dealt in stages? What's the name of the form of poker in which 2 cards are held by each player, with 5 community cards being dealt in 3 stages? You've got the flop, the turn, and the river. I just need the name of the style of poker. It's got a specific name. What is that name? I've enjoyed doing this quiz, everybody. Just doing the bare minimum to not get furloughed during the week. It's giving me something to keep me busy. Right, we've got one more question on this round. And then we are just looking for a connection that unites all of them. For what it's worth, I'm going to give 2 points for getting the connection, and there's obviously 8 points on offer for the individual questions. So, number 8, which US rock band was famous for songs such as Carry On Wayward Son and Dust in the Wind? Carry on my wayward son. That one. I need the US rock band, please. And it's famous for songs such as Carry On Wayward Son and Dust in the Wind. Cov Quiz PB, I need your picture of Patrick, please. I need your picture of Patrick. With or without a massive willy drawn on it as well. You know, everyone else is at it, so why not? Also, Saturday Night Fever. I need your picture of Patrick as well, please. Saturday Night Fever. So that's Simon and Abby, please both send through your pictures of Patrick. And speaking of which, then, we've got the... I'm not going to sing the whole song. No, that was horrible already. I've got the Patrick round coming up now. So these are questions that you all... Saturday Night Fever. Why are you doing one? Just play ball. Just because you don't watch Netflix. So these questions, are all nominated by you, Patrick's friends, family, or not so friendly in some cases. For what it's worth, I did have to censor a question on pretty much every team. Patrick, you've done some pretty reprehensible stuff. But number 1. What was Patrick's party? Thank you, Simon. What was Patrick's party trick in the union when we were students? Patrick used to have a party trick involving a prophylactic. What was that? If you would like to use the whiteboard to sort of draw a picture because it's too hard to talk about it, I would understand. Patrick had the party trick. This is question number 1 on the Patrick round. Sorry, this is question number 1 on the Patrick round. What was Patrick's party trick down the union when we was at uni? It was grim. He was sick most of the time. Number 2, on a lighter note, what is Patrick's favorite cocktail? What's Patrick's favorite cocktail? It is tasty. Very vibrantly coloured, like Patrick's personality. So what is Patrick's favourite cocktail? It's a very coloured cocktail, which brings me on to my next question. What was Patrick's nickname during Freshers Week in Halls? What was Patrick's nickname during Freshers Week in Halls? There were some unfortunate incidents. Patrick's squirming like a worm on a hook at the moment. It's going to get worse, Patrick. Sorry. Okay. I mean, we'll all go through the answers. We could also just speculate as well. To be honest, I might just give points for the funniest answer. Right. Question number 4. This is actually in better taste. I did have to talk them down from what they actually wanted to ask, though, Patrick, for what it's worth. But which game did Patrick repeatedly annihilate Amir in during uni? Is a game, a PlayStation game or Xbox game? Sorry, an Xbox game in which Patrick repeatedly annihilated Amir. Goes on about it all the time. What's the name of that game, please? I need a name and a number, so it won't just do FIFA 2018. It has to be the specific version of it, please. And this one probably actually is the most mortifying for everybody, actually, Patrick. I need to know, please, what was Patrick's first gig? So way back in about 2004, we reckon, Patrick went to his first ever gig. It was at Wembley Arena. Who was he seeing? What was his first ever gig? Patrick Burke. Patrick Burke, a band T-shirt, Last FM fame, where he track all of the gigs he's ever been to. Music aficionado, heavy metal head, punk, not so much. Math rock, big fan of Coldplay, who obviously invented math rock. Who's there? Who was his first ever gig going to go see? Obviously, it's not going to be someone cool. I can give you that tip. Right, number 7. Sorry, 6. Number 6. And this is the final question of the quiz. So thank you very much all for taking part today. It's been a pleasure. Question number 6. What was Patrick wearing when he was found on the sofa after one of Maygrove Road's famous parties a couple of years ago? Patrick was found on the sofa the morning after one of the parties that we hosted. What was Patrick wearing when he was found on that sofa, face down on that sofa? I remember clearly it was about 11 in the morning. One of those ones where you sort of come down, there's a sea of cans everywhere. And then Patrick was lying face down on the sofa wearing what? Okay, so same drill as last time. That's actually all the questions done. So what we are going to do is same as last time. Team captains, once you've collated the scores, send them through to me. So you should have there on the second answer sheet 3 sets of questions. So that was the miscellaneous round, so the general knowledge round, the connections round, and then the Patrick round as well. So I'm just going to run through these very, very quickly. I know it's already been a couple of hours now. So the general knowledge round, everybody, was which performance group originally from Brighton had become famous for their percussion shows in which they use everyday objects as drums? Number 2 is J.M. Barrie. He's a writer. What did he write? Stories, obviously, but what's his most famous story? Joy Division's best-known songs, Love Will Tear Us Apart, was from what album? Number 4, the Raymond Chandler novel about a detective hired to deal with a blackmailer. It was The Big Blank. I needed you to fill in the blank. Which canned food product was number 5? It was sold in Fortnum & Mason's by H.J. Heinz Company in 1886 for the first time. Number 6 was the name of Offspring's third album. Sorry, it's getting quite late. Of the Offspring's third album, it was the Breakthrough album, and it spawned some singles such as Come Out of Play and Self-Esteem. What was its name, please? It's the highest selling independently released album of all time. And then there was a 1960 film starring Kenneth More about the World War II sea battle. It was Blank the Bismarck. I need to fill that blank as well. And as a reminder, Brewdog also released a beer of the same name. We then went on to the connections round. I needed a connection that connected all of these answers. Once you got the connection, I think most of it was quite straightforward. I need to know outside of what building was John Lennon shot. as number one. Number two, Emanuel Leutzer painted a famous picture of which Revolutionary War general crossing the Delaware River. Number three was the name of Manchester City's old ground. Number four was the playwright behind Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and the streetcar named Desire. Number five was which band got 3 Grammy nominations for their first album, Boys and Girls, led by the hit 2012 single Hold On. And then number six in the film, Lucky Stripes. Frankie Muniz is a zebra and he enters a famous race. What was the name of the race? It is the same race as Seabiscuit. Number seven, what is the name of the form of poker in which you have 2 cards and then there's 5 communal cards? And then number 8 was the US rock band famous for songs such as Carry On My Wayward Son, Schaefer, Leave the Singing to You, and Dust in the Wind. We then moved on to the Patrick round. I'm just going to give you 30 seconds to catch up, though. I appreciate I went through that quite quickly. I put myself on mute there accidentally before I actually wanted to. Yeah, please, team captains, please send through the the answer sheets, and then yeah, I am going to mute myself now. Okay, right. I've got everybody's scores here. Thank you very much for all sending them in. We seem to sort of, uh, be a well-oiled machine. So I've totted up all of the scores. So if we just go through them one by one, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm going to shave my head, guys. At some point, it's just about letting Nora let me, or getting Nora to let me. So Vlad, you can leave your pressure group now. It's probably going to get shaved because I've got nothing else to do. Let's just fly through these questions. Some of them were done better than others. The miscellaneous rounds. Everybody got Stomp as the first one. Jay and Barry wrote Peter Pan. The third question, though, caused quite a few problems. It is not Substance. Substance was a collection of B-sides and live tracks and stuff. The studio album that Love Will Tear Us Apart is from, was called Closer. Not Unknown Pleasures there. I mean, I know that you're going for Unknown Pleasures, and that's why I said a single word answer. The Raymond Chandler novel, I think most people got this as well, was The Big Sleep. The canned food product was baked beans. I accepted beans as well. The Offspring's third album was Smash. It wasn't Americana. It wasn't anything else. It was Smash, their third album. Number seven was Sink the Bismarck. I think we all got that one as well. That was Sink the Bismarck. The connections round, I'm going to leave that because everybody got that 100% correct. All of you got 10 out of 10. Even some of the trickier ones, like where was John Lennon shot? I think once you get the connection, then you can get everything else, as I sort of said, ad nauseum. But let's go into the the Patrick round, sorry. We there had 5 questions. Now, these nobody got 5. Oh, no, one team got 5, actually. One team got 5. But yeah, we're seeing 2s and 3s there pretty much across the board. So if we go for number 1, what was Patrick's party trick? I think most people got this one, unfortunately. His party trick was snorting a condom and then sort of flossing it through his mouth like that. It was grim. Sorry, Simon. Not Simon. Sam. Sorry, it's 6. So nobody got full marks in. My bad. Nobody got full marks. So yeah, something for everybody to learn on this one. So Patrick's party trick was flossing with a condom. It was grim. Most of the time, he made himself sick. Number 2, his favorite cocktail is actually a Blue Lady. It's not Cosmopolitan. It's also not straight gin. It's also not Red Stripe. It is the Blue Lady, like with the blue curacao. My nice little link there about the colour of the cocktail. Patrick, unfortunately, was known as Racist Patrick because of some ill thought through statements. Thankfully, we've gotten past that. So that was unfortunately his nickname. Number 4. The game that Patrick played to annihilate Amir was Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 specifically. And then number 5, his first gig was to go up to Wembley Arena to see the peerless, inimitable Britney Spears. That was Britney Spears, Patrick Burke's first gig with Britney Spears. What songs did she have there? Has she done Toxic by that point, or is it just Hit Me Baby One More Time for an hour? I don't know. Number 6. When Patrick was found face down on the sofa after one of our house parties, he was wearing nothing. I've been having a couple of chats with some of you, and some people remember it differently. I don't remember him wearing his beer drinking shoes, but some people do seem to remember him doing that. No, Shafri, she's not the queen of modern pop. You're the queen of modern pop. But yeah, that's Patrick really. So the scores of the doors from that round, I've not added it all up yet. But big well done to the guys from the Cov quiz. I did. Patrick, you did not have a shirt on, mate. It was grim. You were face down. It was not kimono either. But anyway, yeah, the Cov quiz PB team, well done. You got 22 there out of 23, I think. So done really well there. Not quite a great effort from Nerd Immunity down on 70, only getting 2 questions. Clearly don't know Patrick very well. But yeah, let me just tot up the marks. I mean, I'll nominate a winner, and then yeah, we'll go from there. I also can't work out how I also can't work out how to share the pictures, so I'm going to have to circulate them. It was a nice idea, it didn't work. But right, let me just tot these up. Okay, right. I've got scores on the doors. Well, I've got final scores for everybody. This isn't taking into account the picture round, which I've managed to fuck up. Sorry about that one. But we have quite a spread of answers, or quite a spread of scores. Big shout out to the guys on Lewis's team. Obviously, they had some technical issues. They missed half the first half of the quiz, but they did come second place in the second half of the quiz. So they probably would have done very well. However, they only finished 21 points, unfortunately, because of that. So that meant that we had 5 teams who stayed there the whole way through. In 5th place, then on 39 points, we had the team Nerd Immunity coming up the rear, unfortunately. Nerd Immunity on 39 points. Then on 39, just a level with them, sorry, 40 points there was Simon's team, Saturday Night Fever. So that was a that was a valid effort from them, given that they didn't know they basically never seen Netflix. The technical issue, yes, let's put it on the record. The technical issue with Lewis's team is that a lot of them were asleep. To be fair, though, it's not my fault that I didn't check that the time difference in Australia was different to the US. I will see it off Lewis in a second, yeah. Then ahead of them, we had a little bit of a gap, actually, all the way up to the UCLU University Challenge bench warmers, who finished with a creditable 44 points. They did very well there. 45 points was the next one, and that was Bat Soup, the guys from Bat Soup, who finished at 45 points. And then an excellent 48 points for the eventual winners, who only dropped 3 points the whole quiz. So we're probably sort of doing some prodigious Googling there. That was the guys from Cov Quiz PB. So yeah, thanks. I think we should sort of finish this off by just doing one thing and one thing only, and that is I'll have no allegations of cheating, please, unless I make it myself. That thing would be to sing "Happy Birthday" to Patrick. So please do belt it out to so that he can hear you all the way over in Greenfield, wherever it is that he is at the moment. So on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, dear you. Happy birthday to. How have I fucked it up? Sorry. I can't even sing happy birthday now. Happy birthday, dear Patrick. Happy birthday to you. All right, everybody. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you very much for having. I hope it's been better to yeah. Sorry for fucking up. Happy birthday.